The rain beat against the small window panes of their living room, casting flickering shadows across the pale blue wallpaper. It was a humble home, small and slightly worn at the edges, but to Jungkook, every square foot of it smelled like comfort. It smelled like lavender laundry soap, fresh coffee, and Taehyung. Jungkook sat at the small wooden dining table, his hands trembling slightly as he arranged a stack of legal documents. His heart pounded against his ribs, heavy with both terrifying anxiety and blinding hope. For 2 years, he had quietly worked late nights, sketching designs, building prototypes, and studying market trends. He had a vision for a business that could change their lives forever. He wasn't doing it for fame or greed. He just wanted to build a future where Taehyung would never have to worry about rent, medical bills, or working double shifts again. All he needed was a starting loan, but to secure the bank's approval, he needed to pledge their shared house as collateral, and that required Taehyung's signature. The front door clicked open. Taehyung stepped inside, shaking his wet umbrella. He looked exhausted, dark circles shadowed his sharp, beautiful eyes, and his skin seemed unusually pale beneath the dim hallway light. Over the past few weeks, Taehyung had been quieter than usual, often pressing his palms against his temples as if fighting off severe headaches. But whenever Jungkook asked, Taehyung would gently brush it off as simple fatigue. Tae, Jungkook said softly, standing up from the table. His voice carried a nervous tremor. You're home early. I I prepared something for us to talk about. Jungkook said softly. He rubbed his thumb over the back of Taehyung's knuckles. The bank approved the primary loan structure, but because I don't have enough corporate collateral yet, they need security. Taehyung went very still. Security? The house, Jungkook said, the words coming out in a quick, hopeful rush. We put up the deed to this place as collateral for the business loan. It's just temporary tie. Just for the first 18 months, until our first major logistics contract settles. Once the revenue kicks in, we pay off the underlying draft, release the title, and we'll be completely set for life. We won't ever have to worry about rent or double shifts again. Taehyung turned around. His face was a mask of utter coldness, stripped of all the softness and warmth Jungkook had loved for 5 years. What is this, Jungkook? Taehyung asked, his voice sharp, flat, and detached. Jungkook blinked, startled by the icy tone, but forced a small, hopeful smile. He pulled out the chair for Taehyung. Please, just sit down and look at this with me. It's the proposal for the manufacturing startup. The bank reviewed my business plan and they loved it. They said the projected returns in the first 2 years are incredible, but to finalize the funding, we need to secure the loan against the house. Taeyang didn't sit. He walked over to the table, picked up the thick stack of papers, and glanced at them with deliberate contempt. The house? Taeyang sneered, tossing the papers back onto the table so hard that a few pages scattered onto the floor. You want us to risk the only roof over our heads for some childish fantasy? Jungkook's smile fell completely. Childish? Tae, I've worked on this day and night for 2 years. You know how much effort I've put into this. It's not a fantasy, it's a viable plan. It's a gamble. Taeyong interrupted sharply, stepping closer and looking down at Jungkook with eyes that held no affection, only cold disdain. You're living in a dream world, Jungkook. You think passion pays bills? You think hard work guarantees success? Look at you. You're trying to act like some big businessman, but at the end of the day, you're just a naive boy who doesn't understand how harsh reality is. Jungkook felt as though he had been slapped across the face. The harsh words cut deeper than any physical blade. Tae, why are you speaking to me like this? We're partners. We've always supported each other's dreams. I supported you when I thought you had a brain, Taehyung said, his voice dripping with venom, though hidden behind his back. His fingers were digging so deeply into his palms that his nails drew blood. I'm sick of pretending, Jungkook. I'm sick of working long hours just to come home to a partner who lives in a cloud of childish illusions. You want to know the truth? You're a failure. You've always been a dreamer who relies on me to keep grounded. Taehyung, Jungkook's eyes welled up with hot, stinging tears. How can you say that to me? I am doing this for us, for our future. There is no us if you drag me into bankruptcy. Taehyung yelled, his voice echoing off the narrow walls. I care about stability. I care about money and security. I'm not going to sign away my security so you can play house with your little project and lose everything we own. Jungkook stared at the man he loved, completely unable to recognize him. Where was the Taehyung who used to kiss his forehead when he fell asleep at his desk? Where was the Taehyung who held his hand through every failure and whispered that he believed in him? You, you only care about money? Jungkook asked, his voice breaking into a ragged whisper. Tears finally spilled over his cheeks, burning his skin. All this time, you didn't believe in me at all? No, I didn't, Taehyung spat, refusing to look directly into Jungkook's shattered eyes, terrified that if he looked too closely, his resolve would crumble. And I won't sign these papers. Not today, not ever. If you want to ruin your own life, go ahead. But don't you dare drag me down with you. Without waiting for another word, Taehyung turned on his heel, walked into their bedroom, and slammed the door shut behind him. The loud thud rang through the silent apartment like a gunshot. Left alone in the dim light of the dining room, Jungkook sank to his knees on the cold floor. He gathered the scattered papers with trembling hands, his tears blurring the black ink of his life's work. The physical exhaustion of 2 years of relentless effort combined with the crushing betrayal from the love of his life felt like a weight pressing down on his chest, making it impossible to breathe. He sat on the floor, weeping silently into the dark night, feeling completely abandoned and utterly alone. Taehyung froze for a split second beneath his coat, his hands clenched into tight fists. He knew what was on that table. He had seen the letters from the bank arriving over the past week. But more importantly, Taehyung was hiding something in his inner coat pocket, an envelope from the central hospital containing his neurological scan results. Advanced glioblastoma, inoperable without extreme risk, survival chance under 10% without immediate abroad treatment. The doctor's words were still ringing in Taehyung's ears like a cruel, endless alarm. If you stay here without specialized treatment, you have less than 6 months. Taehyung took a slow, agonizing breath, burying the unbearable agony deep inside his chest. He couldn't let Jungkook see him break. If Jungkook knew the truth, he would abandon his dreams, sell everything he had, and spend every last penny chasing a miracle that might never happen. Jungkook would destroy himself watching Taehyung slowly wither away and die. I have to destroy his love for me, Taehyung thought, his heart shattering into 1,000 invisible pieces before he even spoke a word. If he hates me, he won't mourn me. He will move on and survive. In the closed bedroom door, Taehyung slid down against the wood until he was sitting on the carpet. He pressed his face into his knees, suffocating his loud, agonizing sobs so Jungkook wouldn't hear him. His head was throbbing with a violent, agonizing pain, a sharp spike behind his eyes that threatened to make him black out right then and there. He squeezed his eyes shut, tasting the salt of his own tears. I'm sorry, Cook, Taehyung prayed in silence, his chest heaving with silent, agonizing sorrow. I'm so sorry. Hate me. Please, hate me with all your heart. It's the only way you'll survive when I'm gone. The rainy night faded into a grey, listless dawn. Inside the small apartment, the air felt heavy, stripped of all the warmth and quiet comfort that had filled it just 12 hours before. Jungkook sat at the edge of the worn sofa in the dark living room, his hands clasped tightly between his knees. His eyes were red and swollen, fixed blankly on the white paper folder resting untouched on the coffee table. He hadn't slept a single second. Every time he closed his eyes, Taehyung's words replayed in his mind like a physical blow. I'm tired of pretending that I believe you're going to make it. You don't have what it takes. The sharp turn in Taehyung's demeanor made no sense to him. How could 6 years of unwavering devotion, shared dreams, and gentle tenderness evaporate in a single afternoon? Was it possible that Taehyung had been harboring these feelings of resentment for months, quietly watching him struggle while hiding his true feelings behind soft smiles? The thought felt like a blade twisting in Jungkook's chest. A soft click echoed down the hallway as the bedroom door opened. Jungkook stiffened, turning his head slightly. Taehyung walked out, dressed in his dark winter coat, his hair neatly combed, his expression composed and unreadable. He carried a single travel bag over his shoulder. Jungkook stood up, his voice hoarse from crying. Taehyung. Taehyung didn't look at him directly. He stopped near the entryway, setting his bag down on the floor to adjust his coat collar. His hands were pale, and his movements were deliberate, almost rigid. I'm leaving, Taehyung said quietly. His voice carried no anger, no regret, just a cold, flat distance that felt far worse than any argument. Where are you going? Jungkook asked, stepping forward, his hands trembling at his sides. Tae, please, talk to me properly. You can't just throw away everything we built over one discussion about a loan. If you don't want to use the house as collateral, fine. I'll cancel the lease request. I'll find another way. We don't have to risk anything. Taehyung paused, his gaze fixed on the front door handle. Inside his head, a sickening pressure was building again behind his left temple, a dull, rhythmic throbbing that threatened to rob him of his balance. He clenched his teeth tightly, digging his fingernails into his palms inside his coat pockets to focus his mind through the sheer agony. Don't look at him, Taehyung told himself. If you look into his eyes, you will break. It isn't just about the loan, Jungkook, Taehyung said, forcing his voice to remain steady and indifferent. The loan was just the final straw. I've been thinking about this for a long time. We want different things out of life now. I need stability, and you're chasing something that might never happen. That's not true, Jungkook choked out, tears welling in his eyes again. You know how hard I'm working. I'm doing all of this so we can have a real future together. And I don't want to wait around while you figure it out. Taehyung cut in, his tone sharp enough to stop Jungkook in his tracks. He turned slightly, letting his cold gaze sweep over Jungkook's tear-stained face. I've already packed my essential documents and clothes. I've arranged to stay elsewhere. Don't look for me, and don't try to call. Taehyung, please. Jungkook reached out, taking a fast step forward to grasp Taehyung's arm. Don't touch me, Taehyung said, his voice cold and detached. It's over, Jungkook. Accept it. Before Jungkook could say another word, Taehyung picked up his travel bag, opened the door, and walked out into the chilly morning corridor. The door closed with a firm final click. Jungkook remained standing in the middle of the hallway, his hands hovering in the empty air where Taehyung had been a second before. The silence of the apartment washed over him, vast and deafening.